Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we are Anne and Jonathan Halstead, and in our spare time we love to visit ancient sites around the UK and investigate them from an energetic and spiritual aspect. Here we are at Thornborough Henge, which is located on the A6 108 between West Tamfield and Thornborough. It's described as a unique and important cluster of Neolithic monuments, sometimes described as the Stonehenge of the North. We're not quite sure why, as there are no standing stones to be found, but anyway, the Henges are believed to have been built about 4,500 years ago, and you can find out more about it if you're interested on the English Heritage website. In our last episode, we took an impromptu visit to the wooded Henge of Thornborough on our way home from a weekend away. If you've missed that video, I'll put a link to it in the description below. On our way back home, we decided to stop at the middle henge, which you can see here in the background, to take some photos to show you. We'll cover this in more detail in the next episode. Many years ago, when we first came looking for Thornborough Henge, its location wasn't very obvious to us from the roadside, and I must admit it did take some finding. Now it's a little bit easier as there's signage and usually cars parked by the side of the road. As we sat here, we noticed people walking on a footpath in the field opposite, and to our delight we realised that the southern henge had been made accessible to the public. As our excitement built, we couldn't leave without paying it a visit, so we hope you'll enjoy coming along for another wacky ride to see what we discovered about the southern henge. Do strap yourself in. It was so windy that sadly it affected the original audio, but anyway, here we are, approaching the southern henge, and it was here, or round about here, that we started to pick up on some energy. The same energy we felt at the wooded henge in the north, and the closer we got, the more powerful this pulsating energy became.
Get off there.
Here we're standing right at the entrance to the henge. The energy was hitting my solar plexus and vibrating through the whole of my body. It was a really warm, amazing type of energy. You know, the sort of energy that really makes you feel glad to be alive, and it's also very humbling too. It's an energy that really connects you to the land, a really wonderful, wonderful feeling. As we panned to the right, we know we were having a little joke about somebody being on the henge, but here we can see a little footpath going around. The place reminded me very much of Arborough in Derbyshire, where you can, rightly or wrongly, walk around the henge there. The henges are aligned along a northwest to southeast axis, stretching over a mile in length. Here we're facing southeast towards the centre of the circle and outwards away from the other two henges. Jonathan picks up the energy in a different way to me. He feels it through his head, his shoulders, and he feels it going right down his arms, giving him the sensation of being pulled towards the ground. What's happening is that we're picking up on the ley line that runs through all three henges. It's time now for a little bit more of an investigation, and we're heading here towards the centre of the henge.
So I'm now really picking up massive energy in this part. It's almost like a pincer with the mounds here, the henges at either side of me, and just we're coming to this point here. It's really powerful. It's just ramped up from that, literally a few paces from outside of the henge to this part here.
As we made our way towards the centre of the henge, you can see that they've mowed a circular strip just on the inner side of the henge. So we feel like we're dead centre in the middle of the henge. So this is looking north, back towards the middle henge. Jonathan doing his thing in the middle. So we'll go and see if he's picked up anything at all. Personally, I'm not finding it as powerful as the wooded henge, but perhaps that's because I've got a real affinity for trees, so I'm picking up on their energy as well. But it's still incredible. It's still real force of nature. Is this beautiful place?
Now this is where it's going to get weird, okay? And how could we ever do a video if it doesn't get weird? Well, very first time we ever came to Thornborough, we were sat where we parked Lucy now, across the other side of the road, and I saw a shaft of white light coming straight down through the middle of the centre henge. And I implored Anne to get out of the car and go and sense the energy for herself. And the energy was massively intense. Anyway, I had in my mind pictures of people in the central henge, all walking round in white robes and looking very druid-like, and interestingly it was picked up by others as well.
We shall mention no names.
Who shall rename Mainless.
Yes.
Like a female lion.
Yes.
Yeah. And
where did that come from?
I have no idea. Where does anything come from? Honestly. What I'm trying to say is that there was something very magical about these henges, and I'm going to kind of just come straight out with it. And then I saw 3 massive silver discs, okay, that would have rested upon these henges. Massive silver discs. And then it was there that I kind of connected with the constellation of Orion. And of course we know that it's aligned with Orion's belt. Anyway, I've just been stood here now in the centre of the southern henge, and I've picked up that light again. And it turns out that there is light from all three henges going up from Earth into converging at one point. I believe the sun's involved in this somewhere, I don't know exactly where just yet, but I'm going to work on that one. But it connects with the centre star of Orion's belt, and I've never known the name of that. Every star in Orion's belt has a name. The most famous ones are Betelgeuse. Most people know that one. And one of the famous ones is Rigel. But I'm just going to have to pull this up on Tinterweb because I can't remember what it was called or even pronounce it. It's Alnilam, Alnilam or Alnilam. I'm not quite sure. So there's Alnitak and Alnilam and Mintaka. I like that one. Mintaka. Yeah. So there you go. That's what I've picked up so far. Call me weird, call me mad.
That's wonderful. The sun's out.
And the sun's shining.
Shining on the
righteous.
righteous.
Up at the cloud formations. The cloud formations are phenomenal.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So there you go. That's a weird and wacky update, folks.
Yeah. I've never been more yet. Let's see what happens. And so that was our very first visit to the Southern Henge. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed the short tour around. Sorry once again for the poor sound quality. We hope it's not spoiled your enjoyment too much, and we hope you'll come along with us in part 3 as we take you around the central henge. If you haven't already done so, we'd really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing to our channel, and if you hit the bell icon, you'll be notified when the next episode is available. Take care and see you soon.